Okay, I see a
Okay,
couple.
guys, let's make sure that we are engaging Mel. This session is supposed to be very, very interactive.
Thank you, Ryle. I see Oshioke saying from City the ads were too much and so long and they were hard to close. Thank you, Jonathan. You say the most recent one for me is Lemon. It looked like a competitor for your app, but you deleted it because they were asking you to subscribe without you getting any value. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for those two. I see we're like almost 10 people on this call. The rest, you have nothing to share. You don't use apps. You have no thoughts, no opinions. For me, I can share. Oop, I for me was calorie counter. It's called Snap Calorie. I decided to delete it because I expected it to allow me to take like photos immediately and then just like take take the information from the photo and then just like put everything automatically. But then I needed to subscribe to get that, but it was marketed as like that's what you get in the free package. And so yeah, that's why I did that. Kemi says I can't remember the name, but the file size was too large. TikTok, Thompson, you say you didn't see any value in it and didn't want to get stuck in doom scrolling. Smart. Metodo, there's an error that the support team was unable to fix, and then Cashew, it wasn't what you were looking for. Okay, thank you for sharing those. And I think as we go on, you'll see why I asked a question. Yeah. So I'm Melody Mohana. I run Humini AI, which is a consultancy focused on AI adoption and change management. So I spend my time working with teams and leaders to identify the gaps in their AI adoption, why it's not working, and trying to make it work, or just beginning that entire journey with them, figuring out why their people, whether employees or their customers, are having a hard time with sticking to their platform and then taking them through that journey. So today it's going to be not a tech heavy session, but it's going to be a psychology heavy session. As the title says, the psychology of product adoption is going to be heavy on psychology, especially in the African markets, and I'm going to bring that lens to us here. So just a quick run through of the session on what to expect. First, we're going to go through our diagnostic framework that's rooted in counseling psychology about the 3 gates every user walks through in terms of product adoption and the psychological technique for each. Second, we're going to have a set of user interview techniques, which I'll share and you'll practice live in your breakout rooms. I know Ryle shared a message yesterday about the pairing, so that's what that's going to be used for. And then there's going to be some coaching with you in real time in the rooms. And then lastly, there's going to be a 5-question probe script that you're going to run on 3 real users of your product before the next epoch. So this is not going to be a lot of a lecture. I need us to be more interactive. I need us to be more engaging, because that's the point of this workshop. I need us to engage our minds, engage our thoughts, each other, our products, for this to be a valuable session. And I hope it's going to pick up as we go through the session, because I'm used to very interactive sessions, and I hope we can have that here. Okay, so let's get into it. The framework we're going to look at is called the 3 gates of adoption. So when a user first walks up to your product, they silently ask 3 questions. If you fail any of them, they immediately leave. And the thing with these gates is that they are sequential. So you have to make sure you're clearing them in that specific order. To mention, feel free to stop me at any time should you have any questions, comments, concerns as I go through the presentation. Here's the fast slide, or the fast gates. The fast gate is the trust gate. And the silent question that the user asks in this gate is, will this harm me? So will it scam me? Is it gonna waste my time? Is it gonna take my data and use it roguely? Is it gonna cost me money that I didn't really consent to? So especially in every room building in Web3, this gate is amplified, because by default, crypto usually leads as a scam. And that ideally is your starting point with every single user, especially here in African markets where mobile money scams are really rampant. So the first question the user is going to ask is like, is this real? Is this a scam, right? And most builders will try to solve this by claiming trustworthiness, right? So you're going to have some testimonials. You're going to say, this product is audited by so and so, this is trusted by these people. And then you're going to have maybe security disclosures on your landing page, etc. But that doesn't work, because trust is not earned just by you telling me to trust you. Like, just because you tell me to trust you, doesn't mean I'm gonna trust you, right? So to put this in perspective, in like an example form, I am obsessed with avocados. So I have this specific vendor that I usually go to at the market, and I have a hard time choosing avocados. Like, I don't know which one usually is like ripe or not. Like, I just don't want to go through all that. And usually in African markets or in the Kenyan markets, like, the vendor is going to tell you, like, don't touch on my avocados, because like they're sensitive, and some people like press them too hard and then they maybe start to like spoil. So it's usually like, don't touch everything and stuff. So before I settled on this vendor, I bought from other different vendors, but I kept looking. But when I got to this vendor, what happened is, when I got there, I asked for the price. He told me the price, but then he said this. He said, before you even buy anything, he cut one full avocado in half and told me, just eat it. He gave me one full avocado before I had to buy it, and told me, yeah, eat it. I know my product. I know I know you'll enjoy it. Just taste it and let me know. You're free to go if you don't like it, but I know you're going to stay. And that's that small act that he said, taste it. I'm not afraid of what you're gonna think, because I trust my product, was my vendor going fast. He took that small loss of that avocado slice, and I went from a stranger to a loyal buyer. Like, you will never find me buying my avocados from any other vendor. No matter where I am, I'm gonna find my way to the market. I'm gonna find him, and that's exactly where I'm gonna buy. So trust doesn't happen when someone tells you they're trustworthy. It happens when they go first. So my vendor went first and said, here, have this. Then now I'm pretty much never moving from him unless I move countries. I'm always gonna be stuck to him. And so that's the technique. In hunting psychology, we call it asymmetric vulnerability. It's called asymmetric because one person takes the risk before the other. And vulnerability because going fast always costs something. So in your products, in building your products need to do the same. Your product needs to take the risk fast and be vulnerable before asking anyone to do the same for you. So the diagnostic question for you would be, where does your product ask the user for something like data verification, connect your wallet, give me money before you've given anything. Like the first thing I see when I come onto your product is connect your wallet or let me see your face. You're asking me for something before you've given me everything. And that essentially is a trust gate failure. So the move in this gate is to reverse the order on at least one of the steps. So maybe return a small token before verification. Like before you verify, here's a small something to just let you know we value you being here and we know you're going to enjoy this product, or let them try your product before connecting the wallet. Like before I have to connect my wallet, what is your product giving me? What does my journey look like? What value am I getting from your product? And then, or show them the kind of data that you won't collect, because I know data is a big thing in Web3 in crypto. So what kind of data am I not, what exactly am I sharing and what am I not sharing, right? So everything you reverse is a deposit of trust to your potential customer, your potential client. That's gate one, the trust gate. Do we have any questions before I move to the next gate? Great. Sounds good. Let's go to the next slide, which is gate two, the value gate. The value gate is
Hey
speaking to,
Mel, did you want to share your slides, or
oh, well, damn,
this
no
is
one's telling me
intentional?
I'm not on the screen.
No, I just had you saying, let's move to the next slide. So yeah, thank you.
Guys, talk. I'm here talking like you're seeing the things. Okay, that was slide one. Anyway, they're not very packed, they're very light slides. Anyway, so thank you for that, Ryle. This was slide one. The first gate is the trust gate. So for the second gate, which is the value gate, the question that the value gate. The second question that the user would ask is, do I get what I came for quickly? Not just do I get what I came for, but how fast can I get what I came for? Every step of friction before the user feels like, oh, yes, this is for me, is a moment that loses a fraction of the people who have come onto your product. And I think this is what something that a lot of builders would miss, that I would say, is if you think about the last time you tried to learn something and quit. So like a language app, I think we've maybe all tried Duolingo at this point, or maybe a new workout routine, something that you signed up with a real intention, like I want to do this because I want to get this out of it. If you really truly think about what you told yourself when you quit, most of the times you'll find some version of you blaming yourself and not the app or not the tool, but blaming yourself. For example, let's say workout routines, or like, going to the gym. Before I was able to get like consistent with going to the gym, a lot of times I would go try in the house 1 week, 3 weeks, 2 weeks. By the time it gets there, I'm just like, this is not for me. And for the longest time in my life, I convinced myself, like I just knew like working out is not for me, because I tried so many times and failed. And I always blamed myself, not any videos that I tried to use, not the gym, not any apps. I just felt like this just is not my jam. And what we call this in counseling psychology, it's called cognitive load threshold. So what this is we all have a fixed budget of mental effort that we are willing to spend on something new before we hit the value moment. So, like, I have in my mind a very specific amount of effort that if I hit that effort without feeling like I got the value of why I came here, then I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to quit. And then as a human being, we'd like to protect our egos. So after quitting, I'm gonna protect my ego by blaming myself rather than the tool. And then I won't come back. Because coming back means I'm facing the memory of feeling dumb, feeling weak, feeling like I'm not enough, like this is not for me, and I don't want to feel that. So when I first log on to something, I have like just this amount before I feel like this is value for me or not value for me. If I get to this point and I feel the value, then yay, great, I'm gonna go on. But if I feel this and I feel like I'm over exerting my mental effort on this something new and I still don't feel the value, then I'm gone and I'm not coming back. So we call this the therapeutic dropout for in therapy a lot of times. So like when clients don't feel progress by like session, say 3 or 4, they stop coming and they'll rationalize it as, it's my own thing, it's me, it's just who I am. And so that's why we try to front load small wins. Like you help your customer, you help the people coming onto your platform to experience small wins as soon as possible to protect them from the self blame, to protect them from like dropping out and hitting that, exceeding the fixed budget of the mental effort that they have for your product. So this is of course the same thing to your product every day, but you can't see it because the people, the clients, the users are living quietly. And so the diagnostic question for this would be, what is the smallest and earliest, yes, this is for me, moment in your product for your users? Like what is the quickest or the fastest small win that they feel when they get onto your product? Or do they have to go through a full day or like jump through 3 courses or 4 courses before they now get some value into it? What's the quickest, smallest win that someone would feel like, oh, wow, I kind of did something here. I'm willing to move forward with it rather than I feel like I'm overexerting myself for something that I've yet to get and that I'm not even sure that I'm going to get. And how do you move it earlier if you don't have like any quick wins, or if your wins would be a bit later? How do you move them earlier? Because this is how you get to retain your people. Any question as we get into gate 3? Okay, so lastly, the third gate, which is the return gate. And the question that users often ask here is, why would I come back tomorrow? Like, what's really keeping me back here day after day after day? And this is where I think with most Web3 apps, we have rewards, we have streaks, we have tokens, points, etc. And reward-based retention often quickly decays. It's like all these rewards, like they're exciting for like the first, I don't know, like the first week. By the week 2, I'm just like over it. Like what else is there? So users can habituate to any reward, but what would keep them like glued, or what compounds, is identity. So you want users to be anchored to your product in an identity-based way. Let's look at this. Think about someone who's a runner, or who identifies as a runner, who calls themselves a runner, not someone who just like runs occasionally, but an actual runner. So this person will run in the rain, they will run in the snow, they will go through the mud, like it doesn't matter. They'll run at 5 a.m. with absolutely no reward. Like there's no prize, there's no medal, but this person will be up at 5, they'll be up at whatever time, running when they're tired, when they don't want to do it, even sometimes when they're sick, right? Why? Because if they don't run, then that means they've stopped being a runner. That's their identity. And the identity is worth more to them than any prize, literally. So like if they break this habit of I'm a runner, I run every day, you won't find a runner not running for 1 week unless something detrimental has happened, unless they're sick, their legs, something. But a runner will always literally be running regardless of the day. And it's because it's tied to their identity, right? If they stop doing it, then they kind of lose their identity. And that's the technique that we would want to use at the return gate. It's called identity-based habit anchoring. This comes from a body of work in psychology that is called the self-perception theory, right? So the idea is that we figure out who we are by watching what we do. And if you've read a lot of this, like habit books, they cover a lot of this. Like small repeated actions become your identity. That's why you're told, these 21 days, like you wake up and you want to stack a few couple of small habits, and you repeat them, repeat them. And by the end of the timeline, or whatever space you've given yourself, you literally identify yourself as someone who does this and that. And so returning is automatic. It doesn't feel like a chore. It doesn't feel like something extra you're doing, but it feels like it's automatic, because it feels like that's who you are, right? So something like, I'm someone who learns about crypto daily would outlast, I earn 10 G per streak. Because now if you identify as someone who learns crypto, there's that value in that identity that the user is going to hold, versus this monetary reward, which can disappear, but the identity in who you are holds. So the diagnostic question for this would be, what does your product make people, or make your users say about themselves? Not what you want them to say, but what does your product actually make them say about themselves? Like everything from the language you use, the badges, the streak names, progress markers, every single thing. What does it compound to making the users say about themselves? Because every single thing in your product is working towards identity engineering. And I think this is one of the highest leverage moves that all of us can work on before the next epoch. Because when someone identifies with something, then that's it. They're literally bought into it, and they're stuck on it. And the dropout or the fallout is going to be very minimal. And one thing to note, so those are the 3 gates. The first one was trust, the second was value, the third was the return gate. And something to note before we move on is that these gates are ordered. So they have to go through those 3 gates as they are ordered. So 1, 2, and 3. If you're already using, if you're already losing your users at gate 1, then no amount of retention design or work you put in on gate 3 that will save you. So we have to actually work to optimize each gate at each stage, and you have to truly understand which of the gates you're bleeding at and how to fix that. Okay. So before we get into the exercise, because I know in the invite we had something applied to Web3 specifically, specified. So let me just quickly touch on that. So I want to name a couple of things that are structurally different about adoption in Web3. So every Web3 product starts every user session pretty much in the red on all three gates. Not because the products are bad, but because the medium adds three psychological loads that stack on top of the gates. So at gate one, the first one is irreversible anxiety. That is the trust gate, because in Web3, every transaction, like, it feels final. Like when you're signing up or when you're connecting your wallet, it feels final. It feels like, this is not reversible at all. And so a user would be thinking like, did I just lose everything by signing up to this, by giving my data to this? Because there's that difference between Web3 and Web2, and like Web2 competitors don't pay that trust cost because it's much easier for them. The transactions are, they don't feel that heavy, but that's something different with Web3. And then at gate two, there's the cognitive task, because before your product delivers any value, users have to hold a mental model, like, my wallet is holding my stuff, gas is a thing, networks matter. So they already have to have like not a lot of knowledge, but they kind of have to understand a couple of things, which is already eating up that mental budget that we talked about, that cognitive budget. It's already being eaten up by a couple of things, understanding how things work, understanding the different addresses and etc. It's eating that up. So you have even less time to prove the value to them or to have them stay until they see that value, because they already have other things that's spending that cognitive load. And then lastly, at gate three, they have this wallet, not a home. It's a wallet and not a home. So what this means is, like, Web2 apps, they live on your home screen. You see them all the time. They, like, I see my brand I see these brands every day. Like, I'm able to scroll on them on my phone. I can see them. But when it comes to Web3 rewards, they land in a wallet that users don't necessarily check emotionally, from a brand that they haven't gotten to bond with. These other Web2 apps, like, you have that kind of like emotional bond, seeing them every day, getting those pop-up notifications, and they keep telling you, come back, or here's your reward, or come back and see this. But when it comes to Web3, that's in your wallet. Unless I'm intentionally checking my wallet, it can easily just like skip my mind, and I don't get to feel like there's a home there for me. And so it's easy for me to just like look past it. So what we want to find out from the exercise that we're going to do is for you to identify what specific load is killing you. So which of these three gates is carrying a lot of the load that is maybe slowing you down or stopping the adoption or having people drop off often. So to get into the exercise, and I see time is a bit spent, so we're gonna keep this a bit shorter. So we're going to do some motivational interviewing. I know Ryle sent out the message with the pairings. So this is it's a clinical technique of trying to get people to name the things that they don't know they knew. Like, you know it, but it's just a way of bringing it out, right? So this is what people use mostly in user interviews. And so there's just four very simple moves that I want us to use in these interviews. So first of all, open questions over closed questions, because open questions produce stories. They get people talking, while closed, just yes, no, that's it. But we want to get the stories and we want to get additional insights. So for example, what made you open it is an open question. It could literally go anywhere. But if you say, did you like the onboarding and verification process? That's a yes or no, and I don't get to explain anymore. So open versus closed or over closed questions. Then the second one is reflect. Don't try to solve what someone is telling you, but reflect it back to them. So when someone says something, mirror it back. Mirror back what you had using their words in your own understanding. So that really gets them talking. So if someone says, when I got to, I posed when I got to the face scan, then you come in with, oh yeah, I think that's something that we are working on. We're going to move it later. Like you've not given them the space to finish or to say what they felt, what they thought. You've already come in and cut them off and made the conversation about you and what you're doing. So give them the space through the reflection to speak about it and give more insights. Third is just sit with silence. I know as human beings, we are often tempted, not even tempted, like it's like our default to want to feel silence. Like if there's silence, it's very uncomfortable. We just want to fill it with anything. But just if there's silence, if someone is thinking, just let there be silence. Then let them think, let them think, and then finally you get your responses. And then lastly, explore both sides. So the good and the bad. So for example, if we're trying to find out like what made you keep going in the product and what made you want to stop. So you're not just trying to find out, oh, what's great about my product, but you're also trying to find out what actually is the other side of what they're feeling, right? Because both are true and both do matter for you and for your insights. So this is what the exercise is going to look like. We're going to do this in, I think, 5 minutes. 5 minutes should be good. We're going to go into breakout rooms in the pairs that Rael shared in the message on Telegram. So I know there was a prompt there asking you to think of one real user of your product. So this needs to be like an actual real person you've talked about. You need to play a real user of your own product, someone specific you've talked to, or maybe wish you could if you don't have someone exact in mind, but preferably having someone you've already talked to. And then we need you to stay in character. Like when you feel like you're referring to yourself in third person, you're that person. So if you say, so this user might, it's I, like you need to really be in character, and then the other person will interview you for the 5 minutes using those 4 moves that I just mentioned, and then you'll swap. So since it's 5 minutes, like 2.5 minutes, 2.5 minutes, then I'll do my best to like go through each room and then just like listen to the exercise and then maybe give some pointers here and there if need be. And lastly, you just need to remember that you're not defending your product or you're not selling your product. You're just trying to extract the truth from someone who is quietly telling you why they didn't come back to your product. So you're not trying to be defensive. You're not trying to say, but this, or just listen. You're trying to get insights from someone who's genuinely trying to tell you, like, I got on the app, this is what happened, and this is why I didn't come back. So, yes, that is the exercise. Any questions before we get into the breakout rooms?
No questions.
Yeah.
So Mel, I don't
Uh-huh.
know. Let me just check, and I want to reiterate maybe the people and like how the groups are arranged.
Uh-huh.
So just to share it again, let me go to the group where we shared this. Um, so
Uh-huh.
in case you didn't share, if in case you didn't see, so there's Valo. You're paired with Valo. I know there's somebody who's representing you here. You're paired with Good Drops. Then there's action order. You're paired with onwards. That should be Kemi and Caleb. And then there's block slides. That should be Olivia and Collins and Sam. And then we have Game Arena and the Lulu in the same. Mel, I'm still not in a position to like open the break rooms, as I mentioned. I was hoping to be ready by now, but I've not been able to. Maybe if you could just help me create the 4 groups, and then anybody else who's on the call who was not part of these groups, please just join any group of your choice for the conversations.
Excuse me. Okay. All right. No worries. Just a second. I'm seeing someone asking, what questions are we asking? I'm not giving you the questions to ask. You're gonna be asking the questions. So ideally, the questions are to find out the user's experience on the product and why they did not come back. I'm not giving you specific questions. I was just giving you pointers on how you need to flow with the questions. So I'm going to just copy the 4 pointers here in brief in the chat, and then open up the breakout rooms. So just a second. Because you guys talk to your users, you guys would know best how to flow with the questions and what would be necessary to be asked. But I have just dropped in the chat the 4 pointers on what we need to look out for as you're conducting these user interviews. But the goal ideally is to find out why this user stopped using the product. That's the end goal. I hope that's clear. Okay, so for the breakout rooms, let's see. Okay, so for Valor and Good Drops, who are the representatives so that I can know who I'm putting into the breakout rooms with? So Erica, thank you. And Oshioke. Setup.
I think there's a question.
I hope. Just a sec, jeez. Okay, here you are. There we go. Okay. All right, this is a lot of work. Okay, so for the second one, action order and onward, who are the representatives? Caleb.
That should be Kemi and Caleb.
Kemi. Okay. Oh. Kemi and Caleb. Oh, damn. Caleb. Okay. For block slide and good agent.
That should be Sam Atembwire. And then we have Olivia and Collins. They're in the same group.
Okay, Olivia Yeah. And Collins. Okay. Collins. Okay. And then lastly, for Gemarena and Delulu. Gemarena and Delulu. Who do we have?
So that's Ogas Boys if he's here, or Precious, and then we have Zinta.
Precious. Okay. August Boys and Precious are not here. Okay, Zinta is alone.
Let me just check in with them.
Excuse me. So, okay, do we have anyone from? Okay, good agent is already covered. So, Zinta, do we have anyone else on the call who's not part of the builders and would like to get into the breakout rooms? Okay, I'm going to put you in Zinta with Marvi since the pairing isn't.
I'm here. Good job is here.
Yes, good jobs. You I already have you set up. Vala and Good Drops. No, Vala and Good Drops is which one?
Vala is headed by Marvi, who just commented.
Oh, okay. Okay, anyone else who's not been added from Vala, Good Drops, Action Order, Onward, Block Slide, Good Agent, Game Arena, Delulu, or anyone else just joining from the community who would like to be in an breakout room, or we have everyone covered, I would assume. So unfortunately, Zinta is alone because Oga's Boys and Precious are not around. So I'm just going to move you into.
You can move me there, Mel.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, so I hope everyone is clear on what we're doing. If you're not clear, please ask now. I'm setting a timer
Mel.
for the. Yes.
So we also had some people from the community. There's somebody who said they just found this information online and thought that the session would be useful for them. Maybe you can also add them to the group with the Lulu. Zinka, that is.
Okay, please help me with the name, please.
Just 1 second. This person should be Adeyemi Makanjola. He commented 9 minutes ago.
Okay, great. Yeah. So, okay, I'm seeing someone saying they don't understand. So you guys usually conduct user interviews, right? Or you don't talk to actual real users of your products? I'm assuming you do because you need that feedback. So what we're doing is we are reenacting user interviews by you guys. So whoever is representing Vala versus whoever is representing GoodDrops, the GoodDrops person would be representing a user using GoodDrops, right? And then the person who's from Vala would be asking the person from GoodDrops, it would treat it like a user interview, asking them about their journey on the product and what stopped them from coming back. So you're treating them as a user who stopped using the product, and you want to try and find out why exactly they did not come back using whatever information we've gotten from the session earlier, the trust gate, the value gate, and the return gates. So you're trying to figure out, is it because they were asked to give something before the product gave anything? Is it because the time for the user to see the value was too long? Or is it because the user didn't see any value in coming back tomorrow because they don't feel like they identify fully with the product or something like that. So that is what we're trying to do using the open-ended questions and whatever I've put in the chat. Do you understand, Olivia? Or anyone else who doesn't understand? It's pretty much role playing a user interview where you, as the builder, will be putting yourself in a user's shoe. So you're not going there with your builder hat thinking you built the best product on this planet, but you're going there with the heart of the user. What's their experience? And you're having in mind a real specific user you spoke to or you've interacted with. And we are trying to act that out to get the insights. I hope that makes sense. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna open the rooms. We have the timer for 5 minutes. Let's do this. I'm opening the rooms now.
So
Victor is, did I add? Victor. Oops, I'm sorry, guys. It seems 5 minutes was
I think I got logged out.
too short. Yeah, I think 5 minutes was a bit too short for the exercise, but I'm also cognizant of time because I know it was yeah, we are a bit running over, but are we willing to do another 5 minutes or do we
So me and Zinta, we were only at like the second question.
okay?
So we could
So
do. I mean,
uh-huh.
I could do more, but I don't know what um what people's basically time is. Was if people are not available, we could yeah.
Okay, all right.
That was short.
If
That's
no
what
one
I
had
was saying. Yeah.
finished, okay, if no one had finished, if we can do maybe 5 to 7 more minutes, then maybe yeah, I'm also open to that so that we can just like wrap this up on good what on a good note. And as you're asking the questions, don't like as you respond, put yourself like as an actual user, and as you're asking the questions, you also like we want to help each other as builders. Like I think you guys are familiar with each other's products, and what from your experience would be like a stumbling block or something you may see that another builder may not see, because you know when you build something you're very close to it and you may fail to see a couple of things. So use that perspective, like you're helping each other. So even as you're explaining your products, don't explain it from a point of, I mean, we all love our products, we all are building amazing things, but put yourself in a user's shoe. Like for example, like facial verification. One thing about me, when I guess that I'm logged off, like I'm not putting my face there, I'm logging off. So like I know it's important for scam detection and all, but put yourself in the shoes of like an actual user. Like would the user think from your perspective? And as you answer, like think a bit deeper on these things, on the three gates of that we've discussed, and then yeah, just try to dig deeper and get some little insight on something that you may be missing, or just additional insight that you need to make sure that your users stick. And if you have like those insights, if you've been looking at the insights from the back end of when someone drops off or on what day someone comes in and stops, use that also as insights in your responses or asking the other person the questions to help each other surface this and continue building the great products we are. So I'm going to redo the whole breakout room situation. So let's set this up. Okay, awesome. They are set up. Let me just confirm. I'm confirming the order. Okay, awesome. They should be set up. I'm gonna put the timer for, let's do 7 minutes now so that we have a buffer of 2, ideally 5, but 7, so that we can wrap it up. Okay, we are on. See you guys in a few. Was she okay? Do you have no breakout room to join, or did you not get the prompt? Did I miss you out? Are you there? Was she okay? Okay.
Melody.
Hey, sasa.
Poa sana kwaje?
Niko poa. I'm on another call, so wacha nishtue Mark akikuja. I'm on the lookout. Mark akiingia, nitaongea kwa hiyo.
Sawa, no problem.
Sawa.
Ah.
Okay, are we all back? I am assuming we're all back. All right. I had a chance to get into a couple of the rooms, but I hope each builder had an opportunity to interview each other, and it wasn't one the whole time, so that at least both of you got a bit of feedback or insights. And that, I think, was much harder than it looked. And I think we've gotten somewhere real. I've gotten into the rooms and I've actually had like real feedback being given, like actual real insights from a user perspective and not like a builder perspective, which is very good and insightful. And then, excuse me. And then I think some of us have noticed how we are quick to solve, like we are solvers instead of us, like, just really listening and getting the entire perspective. So I hope that exercise has been helpful / insightful for you both, right? And that you're taking something from it. I know we are way over time, but yeah, I wish I could get you guys feedback, and thank you for taking the time to just stay a bit over for us to finish this exercise. But I hope you had something that gave you some new knowledge about your product and something that maybe you were never willing to admit, but now you've heard it and you're kind of like thinking like, yeah, this is right, and I'm happy I've gotten it from a different perspective. So at the end of this all, or is there, as we're wrapping up, is there someone who would like to share something maybe that they've has shocked them, or something that they've come to realize from this exercise that they didn't want to admit, or that is kind of new to them, or that they've been evading maybe? If there's no one, I just want you to, so from this, we're going to have something that we're going to, a probe script. Sorry, I'm going to share that with Ryle to share with you. So it's going to be some couple of questions that I'd like you to go and use on 3 real users, right? Go use it on 3 actual users. You ask the questions, have them give you the answers, and use those 4 mechanisms that we've said: the open-ended questions, the listening and mirroring and not just solving. And then before the next epoch, I'm gonna drop this here in the chat, is what I want us to answer. Or someone says, I think it was fun and I did enjoy it. I wish it was a bit longer. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But you see, now this is something you can do with, like, your actual real users and get this. So by before the next epoch, I want us to commit to that, because from this exercise, or from the probe script I'm going to share with Real to share with you, it's going to help you uncover which of the 3 gates is your weakest. And then I need you to run that script on 3 real users, and then make a decision on one actual thing to change about that gate to keep the users locked in and coming back, right? So, excuse me, Jesus. And then when you have your insights, I know you all have your mentors, or if you, I don't know, want to share it in the open group chat, I don't know. You can share it with your mentors, or you can share it in the group, or just like with your fellow builders, to really move with and be accountable on working on this. So yeah, that's how I want us to wrap the session for today. I'll sharing the probe script as soon as we drop this call. And yeah, I just want us to make sure that in our minds we have the understanding that, as a parting shot from this session, I want us to have the understanding that we'll sit with, that the gap between something that's built and the adoption is often a psychological gap. Okay, so it doesn't mean that you have to pile on more features every day to close it, but what you need to do is to understand your user better than they understand themselves. And now you pretty much have the technique to do that. So it's not about how many features I can, how shiny it looks. It's about you truly being in your user, literally being them, understanding them better than they could ever understand themselves, because that's the only way you'll now be able to fully build for them and accommodate them in each and every one of these kits. So yeah, now you have the technique. Thank you for your time this evening. It's been a pleasure to host this workshop and have you guys interact with each other and just to cover with you as well. In case of anything, feel free to drop me a message on, what's this thing called? Telegram. On Telegram, if you have any questions, if you need maybe any guidance or anything from this session, feel free to reach out and I'm happy to help. Thank you.
Thanks, Melody. It's been an insightful session, and I think the closing part is the most interesting, or like the takeaway that I take from the exercises that we're doing. That basically, for us to create something, we have to put ourselves in the shoes of the users. And thank you for taking us through the exercises, for sharing the question. Really appreciate it, and also you being a mentor in the season. Really does make a difference. Apologies, I was not able to turn on my video the whole time, but I was locked in, and I'm taking the lessons that you've taught, like the things that you've spoken about, basically ahead. And these are conversations that I'd also have with builders, even as we have one-on-ones with them. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Your psychology background is coming out. Which is awesome. And yeah, so for everybody else, the recording will be available. I'll avail it to you as soon as possible. Melody, I'll also share this with you. And in case of any questions, I will also share Melody's contact, and you can chat her through Telegram or email. And yeah, thanks for listening in. We appreciate you all. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. In the interest of time, we can end the call. Melody, receive your flowers. This was an amazing, amazing session. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.